Skunk geckos aren't just stripy crested geckos. They're an Indonesian species with totally different needs, and most of the questions I get are from people who thought they could care for them like cresties, and spoiler alert, that doesn't work. I've been keeping skunk geckos for 5 years, and I've spent 4 of those years breeding and raising them. They're completely underrated, but they're not cresty clones. In fact, they're little chaos gremlins with racing stripes. Skunk geckos come from Indonesia, so think hot, humid, steamy rainforest with stable temperatures. Cresties, they come from New Caledonia, where it's cooler, breezier, and more seasonal. They're very different climates. For some reason, though, people treat these like they're interchangeable. So let's talk about that heat. Skunk geckos thrive with heat in the low to mid 80s, a basking spot near 90, and a cooler area in the low to mid 70s. The humidity? It's tropical, so while it cycles, it shouldn't be swampy, but it shouldn't be dry. Strive for 60 to 80% on average. While we're talking differences, let's talk about their diet. Skunk geckos are insectivores. They can have Pangea and Repashy, I even offer it to my hatchlings, but they are expert bug hunters. They want bugs, crickets, dubias, silkworms, you get it. They're fast hunters, like sticky-toed velociraptors, and half the fun is watching them hunt. Skunk geckos are semi-arboreal, super agile, and they love vertical space, so give them lots of branches, cork logs, hides, plant cover, basically a mini jungle. If it looks like you did too much, then you're probably right on the right track. Can you handle them? It takes a lot of time and patience, but it can be done if you started early. Skunk geckos are quick, like parkour off of your face quick, but they aren't usually defensive. They may scream if you startle them. You'll handle them on their terms, not yours. Here's a sad reality people may not realize. Skunk geckos, as far as captive breeding goes, are still pretty scarce in the hobby. Most of the ones you see will be wild-caught imports. There are only a handful of us working with them, so captive bred babies do exist, they're just tricky to find. Wild-caught animals can be hardy, but they also come with standard wild-caught challenges like stress, parasites, dehydration, and just plain adjustment. So if you do get one, find a reputable person and be prepared to provide a stable environment. I'm really hoping we can get more captive breeding going to keep healthy animals in the hobby and keep the strain off the wild populations. So yeah, they're not cresties with stripes. If you give them heat, humidity cycles, and lots of bugs, they're hardy, entertaining, and full of personality. If you want a deeper dive or have questions, drop them in the comments. I love helping get these guys thriving.